All right, for video 2 of the Miriam Bright album, I did go ahead and I have blueberry vellum from Country Craft Creations, and I feel like some of the papers it matches and some not so much, so I have to be careful where I put it. If you take a look at like this paper, to me it goes well with some of it, but if I take a look at things like this, I don't like it. So I have to be kind of strategic as I place things. So I went ahead and put that on the front and back inside cover, and I pretty much went edge to edge or as much as possible. So I did put that at about, 6 1/4, maybe it's more like 6 3/8, okay? And then height is about 8 3/8. So I went ahead and I used the dies and I covered the folio, and I'm going to glue it so that this closure will be glued down to the book like so. But let me show you. I'll just slide it up. Well, no, just open it. So I cut the papers using these dies. These are the Uniquely Creative dies for the folio, and I want to use them as much as possible. They're kind of an investment, so I've been trying to use them in different ways. So with this folio, I think it's going to be cool to have that on my inside front cover. So I liked that subtle decoration on the side here. Put on a Merry Christmas from the ephemera, the Creative Cuts they call it, and I left it open so you could tuck something. And then I haven't really done any decorating, but I love this paper, the sparkle. And then when I open it, I glued this shut so it's a pocket. And then I glued this. I was short on my paper, so I glued it on 3 sides and made it a pocket instead of wasting paper. And then I felt like it could use a punch of red. So I liked this color brought in here and there, and there's no red in the collection. So I went to my stash, and there's a Graphic 45 collection that I got from Country Craft Creations called Sunshine on My Mind, I think it is. It was super cute. And I looked at the red paper that was in there, and I thought it was a close enough match that I pulled some of those sheets out of there, and I'm just going to use it sparingly in the book. Okay, so that's where that red came from. And I did that on the outside and the inside. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this. I'm thinking that this would be good. Yep, that'll be perfect for a pocket. Okay, so I'm going to close this, and I just did a little cluster from the ephemera and left it open so I can tuck things. So that closes like so. I'm going to go back and probably add more decorating, but I do want to glue that here. Okay, now I don't know if I'm going to do it right now because it might be easier to do my book without it attached. I don't know. I'm not sure. So let me go ahead and tie this. When I tie it, I kind of liked it off to the side rather than in the center. I kind of liked it at the end here where that largest scallop is. I don't tie very well when I'm using this organza stuff. I love it, but I just don't tie very well. I drop things. It's kind of slippery. I don't know. Maybe I'm just worried too much about how it's going to look. It doesn't matter right now. Okay, good enough right now. Okay, so that will be glued here. And I had to put that blue down because there was too much space. I didn't want it to be white. So I really think that looks sharp. So on the back, I'm going to do a pocket so that I can place this booklet. Remember, this came with the folio. And I had to do some creative paper piecing because I don't want to waste anything. I don't know how much paper I'm going to need for these 4 pages. I'll go back and do some embellishing. But this one, I didn't have a tall enough piece, and I didn't want to cut into a new one. So I glued this piece to the red, and then I die cut it, okay? And then I wanted this to be kind of mirrored image, okay? And then on the back, I was running short, so I did the same thing. I glued 2 pieces that I had together, and then I die cut them. And I'll probably put a picture mat right here, and I don't know. We'll see. I like it. And then I'm going to have this tie closure on this also, just so that it kind of mimics or matches that front cover. So I'll just do that. Okay. That's actually not bad of that bad of a bow. Okay, so this will go off to the side for right now. So I'm going to make a pocket. And so, excuse me, I'm still sick. I cut this at 5 by 7 3/8 because I want it to be kind of a tall pocket. And then this is going to fit right in there like so. Okay. And it doesn't have to go all the way to the bottom because I'm not putting any depth to my pocket. So I have to be careful because this is kind of thick and I'm not adding any width to my pocket here. So again, that was 7 3/8 by 5. And I'm just going to take that 7 3/8 across the top. And with a pocket, you do a half on each end. So I'll do a half. I'm going to put that 5 inches across the top and do half. Rotate it one more time so that the long side is across the top. And I'm going to score that at a half. Once you do one pocket, they're all the same pretty much. Scoring on the 3 sides. So you do want a miter at the top where that 1/2 inch is. And then down at the bottom where there's a square where the 2 lines intersect, cut that square off at an angle. Okay. Go ahead and burnish that, and then we're going to attach it. Now you can put your pattern paper on first. I'll give you the measurement, but I don't know what paper I'm going to use quite yet, so I'll just go back and put mine on later. Okay, so bring your book over. And we want to make sure that it goes from side to side. And it does. Fabulous. Okay. Now you could cut a thumb hole there if you want. And I do have a piece of the glitter paper that's going to go behind like that. Okay. I love me some sparkle. So we'll put this down first. And then this measured 6 1/4 by 5. So I don't have to go all the way down. I'm going to conserve my paper. So let's get our pocket on. And I'm telling you, this glue, I love it. But I need a bottle that works. It's driving me insane. Okay, there we go. I'm probably doing something wrong. I mean, I'm putting the pin on, or in it. See? Look, it just stopped. Okay. Come on. I know it's, oh my, there we go. Something came out that was a little bit thicker. And I do just want to make sure I get all the way to the bottom. Okay, so make sure it goes from side to side. And I do want to line it up at the bottom also so you don't see that blue. I could have lifted it a little bit if I wanted, but I think I want it to be covered. Okay. Make sure it's adhered real well. I just love the idea of putting that folio in here. It's a time saver for coming up with page ideas. And then now we're going to glue this like so. Okay. Love the glitter paper. Okay, you know what would have been sharp is the red glitter paper. That would have made it look more holiday-ish. You know, the way the paper is made, it does not have to be Christmas. It can just be a winter theme. Depends. I mean, some of them say Christmas, but... All right. Come on. Why am I doing... Ugh. Why is it getting stuck here? Hold up. There we go. Just a little bit of the border from that blueberry. And then let's give it a test to see if this will tuck in there. Yay! Yes. And I love how that bow just kind of hangs over the pocket. All right, I'm happy with that. And so now it'll be time for the actual pages. So we need 4 pages. And if our, just conserve paper, well, it's going to be 8 inches tall, the paper. But I think I always like to kind of, our book is 6.5. Let's go 6. That'll get the best use out of our paper. So we're going to need 4 sheets that are 12 by 8 because we're going to score it in half. 12 by 8, 12 by 8. That makes it easier too. Let me get my paper and show you. 12 by 8. And we'll do 4 of these. I'll just do one real quick with you. And I get my cutter. I've got a bunch of stuff on my counter here. I got to get out of the way. This die cutting machine. Okay. Bear with me. I even have a big table and I still run out of room. Okay, so I'm going to cut the 8 inches first. Well, obviously, because you don't cut the 12. It's already at 12. That was a dumb statement. Okay. Oh, that was scary. Drop that. All right, let me check my measurements. Okay, so you'll have 4 of these, 12 by 8. You're going to place the 12 inches across the top. And you know what? This doesn't feel like a true 12. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's 12. And we're going to score it at 6. Okay. At 6. Now when I fold this, I'm going to use my scoreboard as a guide because I may have to adjust just a hair. I want to make sure the corners meet. So I'm bumping it up against my scoreboard, and that's going to help me to make sure I get it exactly in half. All right, and then this is what we'll attach to the hinge. So do a total of 4 of those, 12 by 8. Okay, I'm ready to go through the pages. I remember we folded these in half. These were 12 by 8, and so I'm going to start with the front of page 1. I've already done some pre-cutting. I just got to find where I put my pile. Oh, there it is. So it's going to be a double waterfall, and so we're going to be working with 4.5 by 4 pieces of paper, and you're going to need 8 of them. And I do end up corner rounding them after scoring them, and you're going to do all of them the same way. So you'll just put the 4.5 inches across the top, and you're going to score it at 1/2. Okay, and then you'll burnish those. And like I said, I did corner round with, mine says 10 millimeter. So do that to all 8. And then for the closure, I'm going to use 2 of the tags from the collection. So I cut 2 tags out that I wanted. It looks like I need to trim this one a hair. And this is what I'm going for. I'm going to cut the white. I'll cut 2 of them that are 3 3/4 by 2. And then I'm going to score on the 3 3/4 inch side at 1/2. So this is 3 3/4 by 2. Score at 1/2. And then I went with my pattern paper at 2. I don't know. I can't remember. If this, what I said that was 2, then this is 1 7/8. The red is 1 7/8. Yep. And this is 1 3/4. Yes. Okay. So after I folded this and burnished it, I'm going to go ahead and, so then this now measures 3 1/4. So I'm going to cut my red to 3 1/8. I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so that's 3 1/8, and then I'm going to cut this to 3 inches. I got a little bit of border. Maybe I'll just trim it with my scissors so I don't. Looks fine down there. Okay. So what you'll need to do then is adhere the tag to the red first, because then we're going to trim the corners so that they're at an angle also. Let's see if my glue is going to cooperate. Yes, it did. Okay, I should probably put my cutting mat back on to make it a little bit more easy. Now, before we can attach this then to the white, you do want to angle cut the corners to match the tag. And now you can glue it on the white. I have the 1/2 inch folded behind. Okay. And then just center that. And then angle cut the white. All right. So we are going to need a magnet on the back for this. So I have these setting out so I don't forget. Actually, maybe I'll just set this on top of the magnet so it'll be right in front of my face so I don't forget. Okay, so let's adhere the pocket or the flaps. Now, when we do this, our page, I have it open to the left. I'm going to be starting on the left and moving to the right. And I need to make sure that these two, they're going to probably bump right up against it. Oh, this is going to be perfect. There's just a little bit of space in between, so I must have cut them just right. Never mind. But double check yours to make sure that they don't overlap, because it's going to be close. I better check one more time. Yeah, I have just a little bit of a gap. I don't know if I cut my page a little bit hair longer than 8 or what, but okay. So then you're going to start with putting glue on the 1/2 inch piece, and I am going to bump that. Remember, it's open to the left. I'm going to bump it up against my scoreboard so I can use that as a guide, and I want to make sure that I also line it up on the bottom of the page. Okay, and that looks good. And so I do want to burnish each page as I go. And we notice we did not miter this. When you do a waterfall, you don't miter. You keep that intact. Next one, we're doing 4 on each side. Okay. And so I bump it right up against that one. And I'm going to, again, make sure it's lined up at the edge here. Looks good. Now there's going to be just a hair of a space in between, and I don't have pattern paper there. That's okay with me. It's going to be so small that it doesn't matter. If that bothers you, you can put down some paper first if you want. But mine's small enough that it's not going to be noticeable to the point where it's like, oh, that doesn't look right. Okay, one more here. Looks like it's lined up. And then one more. And lay that one down just the same. Check that side here. Looks good. So then we're going to use this. We'll glue this here in just a second, and this will be our closure. And we'll center it, and we'll have a magnet to keep that closed. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. And then we'll put our closure on. So now I have it open on the right. Did I say right last time? It's open on the right now, and then it's bumped up against the side of my scoreboard to make sure I line it up correctly. And so there's the space. It's about 1/8 of an inch. So I must have cut my pages like a tiny bit taller than 8. I don't know. That's not good. I wanted it to be exactly 8, but unless I cut the 4 inches off. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like on each of these, I went to 4 and 15/16, so I took just a hair off of each. That explains it, because then there's that 1/8 difference. You might want to just cut it to 4 at first and then trim as needed. So now I'm just going to, I gotta turn this the other direction. Continue to do the layering like I did on the other side. Goes right up against that 1/2 inch. Two more. Now, if you do put paper down here first, be careful, because you'll have to put the closure down first and then the paper on top, if that's how you want to do it. What the heck am I doing here? Okay. That doesn't look right. All right, last one. Now I will probably just paper the tops of my waterfall and not the bottom, but I will come in and put a strip. I gotta turn it this way now. I'll put a strip of paper on that 1/2 inch. So what you can do now is, if you want to pattern paper this, so we'll go ahead and center our closure. And so these are 4 inches, so I want to find the center, and you can measure or you can eyeball. I'm an eyeball girl, so I will just eyeball this. So I'm going to put glue on the 1/2 inch. I'm gonna lay that down so I can get a good look at it. I'm going all the way to the edge. And I think I'm happy with that. So let me lift that up. And you know what? I'm going to write myself a note so that I don't forget and accidentally pattern paper. I'm going to put mag for magnet, mag for magnet, so I don't forget. I think that'll be pretty. Okay, now we'll do the other one. Where'd it go? Here it is. And again, you don't have to miter these because they're not going to the edge of a page. They're going to the center of a page. So again, I'm just going to eyeball this. Like so. I just felt like this paper needed a hint of red, and I didn't pick any up when I was in Utah. So that's why I had to get tried to find something to match. And that's how I got that Sunshine, whatever that graphic 45 paper was that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so again, mag and magnet. M&M. Now I am going to use these magnets. Might as well do it now. At first I was confused by these. I was like, how do these work? Because they give you a separate adhesive sheet, which that was something new to me. So I don't know if there's a trick to it, but you just, if there's a trick, I don't know it. Is it on here? Yep. Okay, so I have one there. And now I need to get a match, and I have to make sure I put them on top of each other so that I have the right poles. Ooh, there that went. These are really strong, actually. Oh. Just gonna lay that. I don't want it to hang over the edge. I guess it doesn't matter, it'll be covered, huh? Okay. So there's one set, and I gotta do one more set. So I'm just putting the adhesive on first, and then I will still cover it with a little bit of score tape. Okay, they're together. Just lay that on there. And then the other side. Oops, get away from each other. They are strong magnets. One more little sticky. Okay. And I might as well put them on. So I'm going to I just use 1/8 inch score tape to kind of reinforce it. So I'm just gonna center it somewhat near the top, but I don't like it when I put it too close to the top because then your paper doesn't lay down nice and neat. So be aware of that. So I'm gonna say about right here. And then push down real well, and then take the backing off the second one, and then we'll lay it on top so that we know where to put that magnet. Pushing down really hard so that when I open it, it stays. And then this is where I put the 1/8 inch. Just a little bit to keep it in its spot. And we'll do the same thing over here. Excuse me. All right, where the M is. Press down, push really hard, open it up, cover with a little score tape. I think this score tape is just about, yep, I'm at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and just use 1/4 for this one. I have an 1/8 somewhere, but I'm not going to get it out right now. All right, and that is the front of page 1. And I'll go back and just keep reinforcing this. So these are now 4x4 pages. 4x4, just double checking. Yep, so you're gonna cut your paper 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, your pattern paper, and then you'll corner round, okay? Okay, so let's turn it over onto the back. And let me show you the measurement for the next one, page 2. Okay, or this is one and back. I need one that's 4x8 and 2 that are 5 1/4 by 4. And then you can use your envelope punch board to make an envelope. You can use a real envelope, but I'm going to be attaching the envelope that came with the folio from Uniquely Creative. Okay, so there's the measurements for that. We have just a little bit of scoring. So on the 4x8, we're just going to score it at 1/2 on the 4-inch side. So the 4 inches is across the top. And on this one, we will miter, excuse me, because it will be on the edge of a book. And then we have the 2 pieces that are 5 1/4 by 4. That looks like 5 1/2. Is it supposed, what's this one? They're 5 1/2. My tag said 5. It doesn't matter. I just, 5 1/2 is what I ended up doing. 5 1/4 would be totally fine too. It was just personal preference. So if you did 5 1/4 before seeing that I did 5 1/2, no problem. Scored a half with the 5 1/2 inches across the top. And then this is the envelope that I'm talking about that I'm going to attach. So we'll burnish on our score marks. Miter, scissors, where are you? Right here. I'm not going to corner around these. I'm going to leave them, or do I want to corner around them? I don't know yet. I don't know. We'll have to see what it looks like. Those are going to be on the right-hand side of our book. Let's go ahead and miter the 4x8 on the 1/2 inch. I might corner around this one too. I don't know. I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be gluing this so that it hangs off the book. And then we can open it and use it. And then when we turn the page, we'll have 2 flaps. What do I want? Oh, that doesn't look like a clean cut. What do I want to do? Do I want to corner round? I might, just because this is rounded, I think it might be more, it might flow a little bit better. So I'm going to use, I think, I'm going to go with the 7. So it's not, or no, the 4mm corner. Doesn't matter. Oh, it does matter if we put it in wrong. Oh, if I don't look, I put this in wrong. What the heck? I guess I'm going 7 because I screwed that one up. What the heck? It still doesn't look right. Huh. That one looks better. What the heck? I don't like little... I'm using the Tim Holtz cutter, and I love how it's set up, but sometimes I don't get a clean cut if I'm not careful. But I love everything else about it. Now, obviously, a clean cut is the most important thing, but I'll go ahead and do these 2. So I did those at 7. I'll do this at 7. And probably people won't notice. It's not real bad, but I notice. And I don't like it. Maybe I didn't press down hard enough on the, I don't know. Okay, 7. This, oh, no. Dang it. Huh. Okay, let's clear off my mess. Now, I should not need a closure because of the weight of the envelope. And I really should wait to glue this on until I have this covered with pattern paper using the dies. Now, when you glue this on, you can glue on 3 sides so that when you turn it over, this can be a pocket. And that's what I think I'll do because it does come with quite a few tags. So you'll want to pattern this first, then pattern this, and then attach it. So do not attach the envelope until you put pattern paper on here, okay? Let's attach it to our book, however. So it's the back of this page. So now we're going to turn it over so the opening is on the right. And I'm going to attach this to the far left-hand side. Doing a dry fit. Make sure it's the right height, and it is. I'm going to turn it towards me so the opening is away from me. And I'll put glue on the 1/2 inch. I'm also I have to be aware of the amount of paper I have. I have a lot of 6 by 6, but I just have to make sure that I have plenty of the 12 by 12 for my larger pieces. And check top and bottom. When you're happy, give it a burnish. And like I said, the weight of the envelope should be all we need to keep this page down. Now, you can put, and I probably will, a magnet. Ooh, that goes all the way to the end, doesn't it? Sure does. You could also, if you don't want, you could do 3 sides on here and make this a pocket. That would be, maybe I'll do that. Make this the pocket instead of this the pocket. What do you think I should do? I could do it on 2 sides. So I could use it as a pocket on both. I just don't know yet. But I'm going to write myself a note before I'm going to get use the dies to pattern paper this, but I need to put a magnet to keep this closed because that won't stay closed by itself. So then when we open this, we'll have 2 flaps here and here. Okay. So I need to make sure that these are the right width. So if I have to trim a little bit, and it's going to be tight, let's see. Yeah, they're going to overlap just a smidge if I'm not careful. Even if I am careful, I think they're going to bump right up. Well, maybe not. If I'm careful, they'll bump right up against each other. Okay, I'm a risk taker. Let's see what happens. All the way to the end. Make sure it's lining up at the top. And open it. No, I think well, maybe. I don't know. I might have to just do a hair, I guess. Huh. I thought I was going to make it. I did just a hair, so I'm going to have to go back and do this corner again. What the heck? I hate this punch. Does that look better? Yes, indeed. I don't have to be so careful. Okay, here we go. Nice. I'm glad I trimmed it just a hair. Nobody would know that it's just a hair shorter. All right, so I'll tell you one more time. Don't glue this envelope on if you're going to do an envelope until you pattern paper this. And yes, the weight of this should keep it closed. It's heavy duty material. All right. Okay, let's move on to page 2. Page 2 is going to be easy. So this die also comes with the set. You don't have to use this. You can just cut a regular piece of paper and then corner round it. But if you do want to use this die that comes with it, you would cut your paper at 4 by 6 and then use the 7mm to corner round, okay? But this, you could use this then to be your pattern paper because it will be already rounded. Again, you can just, I don't really need the die for this. So let's go ahead and burnish, do the scoring. This is for the front of page 2. So we just put the 1/2 inch across the top and score at 1/2. And now I feel like I need to corner around everything, but I don't know yet. And then this one at 1/2. All right. And they're going to go like so. You know what? Maybe I want this on the back so it's not so similar to this page. Yeah, I'm going to move this to the back. And then I'll move this to the front. So that's all we're going to do with these for right now. You can burnish and miter, but we'll attach those to the back. You kind of going to have to think about things like that when you're designing and laying things out to make sure that your pages that face one another are not too similar, unless you're wanting a mirror image. All right, let's move that to the side. Let's do the cutting then of the real front, which originally I had as the back. Okay, 3 pieces, one that's 7 by 5.5, one that is 7 by 2.5, and one that is 6 by 6 5/8. And so when you see a line with a measurement below it, that means I'm on the 6 5/8 inch side. I'm going to score at 1/2 and 5/8. That's just a note to myself. But if you're looking at this later saying, why does she have those lines? That's why. That's my scoring. So with the 7 by 5.5, that's going to become a large pocket. So place the 7 inches across the top, 1/2, turn it once, so that now 5.5 is across the top, 1/2, and 1/2 one more time. The 2.5 by 7, place the 7 inches across the top, and we're just going to score 1/2 on each end. So 1/2 and 6.5, that's it. And then the 6 by 6 5/8, the 6 5/8 goes across the top, and we want a little bit of a gusset. This is going to be a top flap, so we need like just a little bit of room. Sometimes it's hard to score on burnish when you have them that close together, but we'll make it work. So 1/2 and 5/8. Ooh, it's close one, people, but we need a little bit of a gusset, I think. Yeah, let's corner around. Might as well keep doing the same thing. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to score, I keep saying score, burnish the first one. And now I got to bend it so I can get that second one. Oof. It's hard, I know. So you should have just a real narrow gusset like so. Okay, now we're going to miter just on the 1/2 inch, not on that 1/8. Okay. Set that to the side. Let's make that large pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and where I have my score marks, give it a good crease. With pockets, you miter the top at that 1/2 inch. On the bottom, you cut out the square at an angle. Okay, so next, this is going to become the pocket behind. And so let's go ahead and burnish those 1/2 inch marks, and then we're going to do some cutting. So this is 2.5. I want my pocket to stay up about 1.5 inches above the bottom one. So with my pencil, I'm going to mark at 1 inch from the bottom. Just put a little tally. Actually, I need to do it on this side. Put a little tick mark here and line it up with the 1 inch. Tick mark there. So what we're going to do then is cut straight to that tick mark, like so. And then we're going to angle cut down. Okay, ooh, that, I need to fix that. Okay, so then this is going to go underneath that pocket. So we have 2 layers and they go all the way down. It'll make sense in just a moment. Okay. All right. So this is the front of page 2. So I'm getting another one of my pages. I'm opening it to the left. I'm going to place this pocket on first. So it's going to go all the way to the bottom. All right. Oh my gosh. This paper is driving me nuts. Not the paper cutter. Some people I've heard have the same problem. Some people have no problem. So I think, okay, it's user error. I don't know. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to. I'm pushing down on the bar and moving the blade in. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Putting glue on all 3 sides where the 1/2 inch is scored. I'm holding in the 2 sides, bringing it down to the bottom all the way, lining it up, and burnishing. Burnishing. I say it so often, I'm thinking, oh, is that the right word? People, this is going to drive me insane. Okay, so now we're going to tuck this here and it'll stop where it needs to because we cut at an angle, and so they have the 1.5 inch stoppers. Now, if you want, you can do a thumb hole, and if you do that, you probably want to put your pattern paper on first. I don't think that I really need a thumb hole. Sometimes I like the looks of it, but this time I'm not going to, just so I can put the book together for you. And I don't need to angle these because it's not at the top of a page, and we don't want the bottom angled because then it won't know where to stop. Okay. So I just slide this underneath. And voila, we have our double pocket. And then I want this to come over the top. So this is a top flap. I'm going to turn it upside down so I can see a little bit better. Remember, you're not gluing that, you're just gluing a 1/2 inch down, not the gusset. Open it up and burnish. And I'm going to fold it, lay it down flat so I can get that 1/8 again, just so I have a real defined gusset. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's the front. Now we can go back to these, and I'm just going to put one here and one here. I don't think I'm going to need a magnet. Or do I want it to go, no. Do I want it to go this way? If I do it this way, I can use a piece of the pattern. How would I use it most? Okay, because this one goes down, these are going to go to the side. I just made an executive decision. So I'm going to go ahead and miter the bottom, because I don't want it to show from the bottom if it hangs over a hair. And then on this one, I'll miter the top one. And that's going to go here. For closure, what do I want to do? I might end up putting a magnet here. I don't know. What could be another way for me to do the closure? Let me think. I guess I have time to think about it. Unless I'm doing ribbon. If I do ribbon closure, I'd have to put the ribbon on now. And then have it tie here. How much ribbon do I have left? Yeah, I have enough. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So let's see. The center at 4 inches is from the bottom. I don't like that. I want it to be higher. I'm just going to try and decide where I want it to tie, because that's going to determine where I put the ribbon. I kind of want it like right here. So how far down is that? Looks like 3 3/4 and 4 up. I'll just center it. I'll do 4. So if this is 6, 4, 4, up 4. Yeah, okay, I'm making this harder than it needs to be. Okay, I'm going to fold this in half and cut it. I'm going to measure down 4 inches from this one and put a little mark. That's where I'm going to glue it. So I'm just going to put some glue here, and I'll take a piece of score tape and put over it. So that was 4. I'm going to center my ribbon on there. Okay, and then I'll get score tape. I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of impressed that I thought about that before I glued it down. Normally I would have glued it down first, and then I would have been mad later. Okay, so this is this one. Okay, this one we need to measure up 4. And about right there. Let me just, okay. I'll put glue first. I'll center it on there. Give it a second to kind of dry. And then I'll come back with that score tape. Where's the beginning? There it is. All right, so I'm going to double check. Do they line up? They do. Okay, fabulous, people. It's working. Okay, let's go ahead then and attach these. I'll remove the backing and then put glue. I'm putting glue on top of the score tape too. Okay. This is the back, and I want this one here. Line it up bottom and the side. Okay, and now the other side. Take off the backing to your score tape. I'm going to turn this around just so I can see it better. Okay. So let's see how that looks with the tie. Obviously it'll look way better when there's paper on it. Here I go trying to tie again. You know, I'm not very good at it. Okay. I can go back and trim that later. I like it. That's fine. This will be cute when this is decorated. All right, so we have pages 1 and 2 done. Now for pages 3 and 4. It's time for me to think. I'm not really sure yet. Time to move on to page 3. So page 3, the front, here are the pieces you're going to need. There's a piece at 7 by 4 3/4, one that is 6 by 4 3/4, one that is 5 1/2 by 4, and one that is 1 1/2 by 5 3/4. Let's start scoring. All right, so the first one that measures 7 by 4 3/4, we are going to score at 1/2 on each end. Okay. The one that measures 7 by 2 1/2. Nope, that's not right. What is this measurement? 4 3/4. This is, okay, I'm confused. Hold on a minute. I'm looking at my, this is 5 3/4 by 1 1/2. What did I say? 1 1/2 by 5 3/4. I'm confused on that one. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. No? Oh, for crying out loud. Yeah, I have it right here. 1 1/2 by 5 3. I'm losing my mind. it's going to become a very small pocket. So with the 1 1/2 across the top, scored a 1/2. Put the 5 3/4 across the top, 1/2, and 1/2 on the other end also. Sorry, I don't know what I have 2 different measurements written down, so I don't really know. That's weird. Okay, the next one, let's take the 6 1/2 by 4 3/4. And we are going to score on the 6-inch side at 1/2. And then the last one that measures 5 1/2 by 4, place the 5 1/2 across the top, score at 1/2. Let's go ahead and work with this front page first. So let's take our little pocket and deal with that. That's easy. So we're going to cut miter at the top. Like I said, it's just going to be a tiny little pocket. And take off the square at an angle. I need to get my glasses on, my readers. I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, yep, I got them on. All right, so we're going to go ahead and flex. I told you it's a tiny little pocket. Look at, it's a 1-inch pocket. But that's because we basically need it for a closure, and that'll make sense in a minute. Okay. All right, I'm going to burnish all my 1/2-inch marks on these. I am going to miter on the 1/2-inch. On all of them. So I'm going to build this, and then I'm going to attach it to the page. It's going to be a very fat belly band. Okay, so the one that we scored at a 1/2-inch on each end, we don't have to miter those because they're going to be in the middle of the page. So this is going to be our belly band. So it's going to be quite wide. Okay. So on the piece that measured 6 by 4 3/4, the 1/2-inch is going to go to the left, and we're going to tuck that under, and our pocket is going to go on top of that, like so. Okay. So let's get that glued. Okay, so now the 1/2-inch is tucked under facing me so I can see this better. Okay, and now we can attach that on the left-hand side of that belly band. I have the 1/2-inch tucked under on the belly band, and this would be the left-hand side. And let's open that up, and we're going to attach this piece on this side, and we're going to center it. So let me get my centering ruler. And how big did I say this was? I don't remember. 4 3/4. So there's 2 1/2, 2 3/8. There we go. And I'm just going to put a little pencil mark at the center. And this was 4, so I'm going to find the center of this and put a little tick mark so I can line up evenly. So this is going to, I can just see the tick mark there. I'm going to line those up like so. Let me put glue on my 1/2-inch piece. And I'm lining them up all the way to the edge. So then what's going to happen is to keep this down, you will put a some sort of tag, or let's see if I have one cut. I don't, but you'll put something in there and then that will keep it closed. Okay. So this is going to then be placed in the center of our page like this. So we can eyeball it. I have about 1 5/8. 1 and, nope, I gotta move it up a little bit. So now it's at about 1 3/4. 1, okay. So I'll just do one side at a time. Again, you can, I'm gonna eyeball this one. I have it open on the left. I'm going to turn it towards me though, so the opening is at the bottom toward me. And the halfway mark is 4, so let me, there's 1 2 1 2, that's about right, I think. I'll open that up and just make sure it's on real well. And now we will glue the other side of the belly band down. Okay, and I will go back and erase this little pencil mark. Okay, so then you have the belly band and it opens, and then you have this for the closures to put a tag in there. Okay, let's move it on to the back. So now we have our opening on the right. The pieces you'll need for this are 5 3/4 by 4 1/2, one that is 1 7/8 by 2, one that is 7 by 3, and one that is 7 by 2 1/2. Okay, let's see. All right. So the first one that we'll score is the one that is 2 1/2 by 7, and this is a pocket. So we are going to score with the 7 inches across the top. We'll score 1/2. Turn it so the 2 1/2 is across the top. Score at 1/2. Turn it one more time. Score it so it's at 1/2. Okay. The next one, this is the one that measured 5 3/4 by 4 1/2. With the 5 3/4 across the top, score at 1/2. You can miter that. Okay. The piece that measured 3 by 7 1/2, score at 3 1/2 down the center in half. And then this little piece, the 1 7/8 by 2, the 1 7/8 goes across the top and you score at 1/2. Okay. So some of this I can show right now. Some of it I can't because I'll have to paper some things first. Okay. So what's going to happen is this is going to be a flap, and we're going to place this little card here, and then this will be here, and I'm going to punch a hole in both of these and then use some twine to tie it closed. Okay, so I can attach this and this, but not this because I have to paper my base first. Hope that makes sense. So this is going to go to the very top. Top left. Top left all the way. Make sure it lines up at the top. Okay, and then we're going to center this like so. I'm going to turn it sideways so I can see if I'm getting it pretty close to halfway. No, up higher. A little bit more. Okay. And I'm not going to punch the hole until I have the pattern paper on. And then once I have papered this, I will place it about right here. And then again, holes, and then we'll put some twine. So I'll keep this off to the side so I don't forget. The bottom is going to be a pocket. So let's go ahead and miter. This was that 7-inch long by 2.5. Oopsie, I did not do that very well. Miter, and we're going to cut out those squares at an angle like always. Getting my little scraps put away here. All right, I want to do a dry fit just to make sure it is measuring correct. And it is, so that we can put little cut aparts or tags down here. Putting glue on the 3 sides. And all the way to the bottom. Okay. All right, so I'm going to set that off to the side, and I'm going to just place this here so I don't lose it. And now we're ready for the last page. Tried to make that one a little bit easy. I usually get that way by page 4. Yeah, I get kind of lazy, I guess. I apologize, but it still turns out cute. Okay, for the front, we need 2 that are 3.5 by 6 and 1 that is 2 by 9. So it's basically a belly band with 2 flaps. So the belly band is the one that measured 9. And so place that across the top of your scoreboard and score at 1/2 on each end. The 2 pieces that were 6 by 3.5, put the 6 inches across the top, and we're going to score it right in half at 3. Now this is another one that I can't really put together until I paper it, and that will be tutorial video number 3. So let's go ahead and burnish these. We don't have to miter because it's in the center of a page. And we're going to burnish these. Put it at the end here to make sure I line them up. get up there. So then I will attach this to the front of page 4, but then I'm going to put these like so. Okay. But I can't put these on until I have put paper on my belly band. Okay, so I can go ahead and glue the belly band down so I don't lose it. And you guessed it, I'm gonna eyeball the center. You can measure. I probably should. How wide is this? 2, so, okay. So the center is 3, excuse me, 3. And so I need this to go on either side to 2 and 4. There's about the center, okay. That doesn't look centered, but it is. Okay, so that will be like so. And I'm not gonna put a magnet or anything. I'm just gonna let them flap, it doesn't bother me. And so now we just have the page 4 back. And for that, you need 2 that are 6 by 4.5 and 2 that are 1.5 by 1.5. Told you I was gonna make this easy. So the ones, the larger pieces that were 6 by 4.5, we're gonna put the 4.5 inches across the top, score at 1/2 on both of those. And then we do miter. The 1.5 gets a score also. So put the 1.5, doesn't matter, it's a square, but 1.5 across the top, score at 1/2 on both of those. Now this is, I'm going to be using magnets. So another set of magnets. I usually don't use this many magnets, but I love this paper so much, and I'm gonna love this album so much that it's worth putting the magnets on there. All right, let me miter this one. So we can attach all these pieces. I am gonna leave myself a note though that we will be putting magnets so I don't cover this paper before I put the magnet on. And I gotta put a magnet on the back of this and on the back of this. Okay, so bring your paper over, your page, and we're actually going to be attaching these so that the 1/2 inch is in the center. So we have one going up and one going down. So it's gonna be really important that we do a dry fit to make sure that it is the right measurements, and we'll adjust as needed. I'm gonna bump this one right up against it. I'll be darned, that's pretty even, woohoo! And then what's gonna happen is these will be magnetically closed with this little piece here. And then one down here, like so. Okay, ta-da! All right, so let's go ahead and glue the 1/2 inch pieces down. I'll start at the bottom. Doesn't matter, you can start with the top one, whatever you prefer. And I'm gonna stand it up. I think I'm gonna have better luck if I stand it up to line it up, to make sure it goes all the way to the bottom, like so. That was easy. And I think I'm gonna put the magnets on now so I don't forget. And let's just double check. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It was perfect. And now I'm gonna put the other one on, 1/2 inch toward the center. I'll stand it up. I can't believe how perfect that was. Okay. So our page is 6 inches wide, so our center is at 3. So I want to make sure that we center this. So I'm going to lift that up. I'm using the ruler on my board here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You know what? I'm going to trim just a, well, maybe not. Yeah, it buckles a little bit. I'm going to have to trim this just a hair. Darn it. I already attached it. Because it does buckle a hair and I don't want that to happen, so I'm just going to slide this in, and I mean the slightest amount I'm going to take off. The slightest. This is how much I took off. Like super thin. So let's see if that will close now without buckling. Oh no, I'm going to take a little bit. Shoot, another slice. Just a little bit. Okay, get this out of the way. Another skinny slice. Okay, now it does not buckle. So I might as well prepare and do the other one at the same, while I got my cutter out. I'm just gonna, I'd rather do a little bit and then have to come back and do a little bit more. So let's see if that works. I think it's going to. Yep, this one will be fine. Okay, so yeah, you'll have to shave a little bit off those. Get rid of these skinny little things. Again, I'm going to use my scoreboard as my guide. So I center it. And here we go. So 3 is the center. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yep, it's centered. What the heck did I just do? I attached it to the top. What a moron. Sorry, I wasn't thinking. Try that again. It's not going to stay closed if I do that. Okay, you'll never know. All right, so I said I was going to do the magnets now so I don't forget. So I have enough magnets, so I'm going to use them. And it's just like we did before, so I'm going to need 2 sets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Jeez Louise, they pop. Okay, let me get those little sticky things. Put one on each side. They like to be by each other. One on the other side. One more. All right, so we just want to center it on this piece, that little tab piece. And then take off the backing. Let me get my tool here. Make sure this is down flat when you do it. I might put a piece of ephemera on here when I decorate it. Maybe a little bit bigger so you don't even see that. Like something like that. Yeah, I probably will. Okay, so now let's open it and just put a little bit of score tape to keep it in place. This one, very small piece because we don't have much room. Too big. Okay, and the other side the same way. And then that is the construction of the base pages. And now it's time for the fun part, to decorate. So I'll come back. For the most part, the matting is just 1/8 of an inch smaller, but I'll kind of walk through some of it, not all of it. I know that most of you know how to cut matte papers, and there's nothing really tricky about anything. Like there's no weird cuts that I made for this album. So for the most part, it should be pretty easy. But I'll go ahead and just do a couple things with you. Maybe talk a little bit about the decorating. All right. So that, let's take a look at everything together. So we can kind of look at the layout here. What's in here? Oh, the envelope. Okay, so we've got our double waterfall. We have our envelope opening and then 2 flaps. And you guys, you could add pockets on here if you want. You can add pockets in here if you want. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. We'll just kind of see. If I'm running low on big pieces of paper, if you do pockets, maybe that will help use up some of your scraps. It's up to you. And then page 2 was the flap up and then the double pocket inside. Turn it over and we had 2 doors. Page 3, where are you? Page 3, right here. I don't remember which one was the front and which one was the back. This is the front, the belly band. And we have an opening and an opening. So see, I have these going on the sides. So I don't know, is that maybe, well, it's too late now, I already did it. Maybe that should have been the back, I don't know. And then when we turn it over, this is where we'll have this, and we'll punch holes and put our string to keep it closed. And then we have this. Where's the other one? Right here. Wait, this one goes here. And then these 2 go here. And then this on the back. I love it. Now I'm going to stick everything in my book just to kind of get an idea of thickness. Fabulous. It'll be great. It'll be great. All right. So I am running, I can't find any more of this red paper from the, I did a project for, I don't know if it was a retreat or the Seasons of Creativity box. And I had some red left, but not much. And now I kind of feel like I want a little bit more. I think this is all I have left. Look, that's not going to get me very far. Yeah, not very far. I'll have to go hunting. Okay, there's that, you guys. I can't wait to get started on the decorating. I think you're going to love it.